From Washington, this is VOA News. The U.S. claims evidence of chemical weapons use in Syria. Former President George W. Bush gets a big dedication. I'm Jim Stevenson reporting from Washington. Some U.S. lawmakers are calling for an expansion of American aid to Syrian rebels battling government forces. It comes following word from the Obama administration that chemical weapons have likely been used in Syria. VOA's Michael Bowman reports.
In an unclassified letter sent to senators, the White House says U.S. intelligence believes, quote, with varying degrees of confidence that the Syrian regime has used chemical weapons on a small scale in Syria, specifically the chemical agent sarin. Speaking in the United Arab Emirates, U.S. Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel read portions of the letter.
We cannot confirm the origin of these weapons, but we do believe that any use of chemical weapons in Syria would very likely have been originated with the Assad regime.
President Barack Obama has said Syria's use of chemical weapons would be a game-changer in the U.S. position on intervening in the 2-year-old Syrian civil war. Michael Bowman, VOA News, the Capitol.
There's more on our website at voanews.com. New York's Mayor Michael Bloomberg says the Boston Marathon bombing suspects were also targeting his city, aiming for an attack on Times Square. Mayor Bloomberg said Thursday that the surviving suspect, Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, told investigators that he and his older brother Tamerlan planned to drive to New York to set off more explosives.
Last night we were informed by the FBI that the surviving attacker revealed that New York City was next on their list of targets. He told the FBI apparently that he and his brother had intended to drive to New York and designate additional explosives in Times Square.
But the New York plan failed within days of the April 15th Boston explosions as Tamerlan died after a shootout with police and Dzhokhar was captured a day later. Meanwhile, in Russia, the parents of the Tsarnaev brothers said their sons did not carry out the Boston attack that killed 3 people and injured more than 250 others. In a news conference, the parents said their sons were framed. Russian President Vladimir Putin is offering some advice to the United States about dealing with terrorism. VOA's James Brooke has more from Moscow.
Russian President Vladimir Putin called on Washington and Moscow Thursday to share security information to fight terrorism. Putin said the need for unity was illustrated by the Boston bombings, which U.S. law enforcement authorities say were carried out by ethnic Chechens on American soil.
Я просто призываю к тому, чтобы вот эта трагедия подтолкнула нас друг к другу.
He said that if Moscow and Washington truly join forces, we will not allow these strikes and suffer such losses. James Brooke, VOA News, Moscow.
President Putin made the comments during his annual marathon TV call-in show on Thursday. The United Nations Security Council unanimously approved a resolution establishing a peacekeeping force in Mali. The resolution authorizes a 1-year mission. UN peacekeepers are expected to take over security duties from the 6,000 African-led force now in Mali by July 1st, but that date is subject to review. The death toll from the collapse of a building in Dhaka, Bangladesh that housed garment factories has climbed close to 260 as the search for survivors goes on. More than 1,000 were injured. Police say the owner of the building and factory managers ignored official warnings for people to evacuate the building after inspectors found cracks in it on Tuesday. South Korea is proposing talks with North Korea over a stalled joint factory complex and is warning of tough response if Pyongyang does not agree to the offer. The proposal was laid out Thursday by South Korea's Unification Ministry. A spokesman did not say what Seoul would do if Pyongyang does not respond to the offer by the deadline of Friday at noon local time, but the ministry threatened significant measures if the offer is rejected. The 5 living U.S. presidents gathered Thursday in Dallas, Texas for the opening of the George W. Bush Presidential Library and Museum. It recounts his 8 years in office and allows visitors to access his record and decisions. At the dedication, Mr. Bush said each president in a democracy must serve a cause greater than themselves.
The political winds blow left and right, polls rise and fall, supporters come and go. But in the end, leaders are defined by the convictions they hold. And my deepest conviction, the guiding principle of the administration, is that the United States of America must strive to expand the reach of freedom.